Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Here comes Bentley Glacier! Does he time the move? He goes high! Stravato blocks! Turns the green!
Contact there entering turn one.
Around goes the 9! Oh, he comes back up the track and he gets clobbered! Science fiction up into the air! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the West Coast here in Las Vegas, Nevada for tonight's BTDY Racing Series. It's BTDY night in America, live on VSPEED, presented by KHIO. Logan Thurkeld in the booth with me tonight. I'm Alec Martinez. Pleasure to be with you guys tonight here for race number 6. Logan, we're in Sin City. High risk, high reward, the gambling capital of the world. What is it going to take to win tonight here? Maybe roll the dice a little bit on this roulette wheel.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Alec. It's going to take every bit of risk that you can take. We've got a lot of fast guys out here. I know Jeff Wright just won this same exact race just a couple days ago in the Saturday Night Racing League Series finale. So he's going to be very, very quick out there. There's a lot of competition throughout this pack, a lot of fast laps being put down in practice. So it's going to be fierce out here all night long.
Sure is. We'll go to the racetrack here as qualifying has just begun here tonight for what will be 120 laps of racing here in Sin City, just outside of Sin City here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and just near the Nellis Air Force Base, and a beautiful 1.5 mile racetrack. And we'll go in look at our track facts here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway here. This track opened up in 1997, was reconfigured in 2006, and reopened up in 2006 with the progressive banking. And our race analysis here tonight, 120 laps, just shy of 200 miles, and 50 mile per hour pit road. 4 tire sets going to be available, 3 laying in the pits, 3 green white checkers, and 80% fuel load and an iRacing fixed setup. And these drivers, hot racetrack, have been saying it's a little bit loose out there, so that's going to be something to watch and monitor as we go out throughout the night here and throughout the race, and what could be a very, very entertaining 120 laps of racing as we got qualifying happening. Ronnie Osmer on the racetrack in that blue Firelight Chevy Camaro, and he might be somebody to watch out for here tonight. Has had an ARCA experience, not on a mile and a half, but at Daytona. But Ronnie Osmer's been quietly solid all season and had a great run in Atlanta earlier this year.
Yeah, that he did, so we'll see if he can carry that over to a track like Las Vegas. Some similarities, but not quite the same. So he should be able to put down a decent qualifying effort here. We'll see if he can make it up here into the top 10. Ronnie Osmer will take that third spot for now.
P3 on the board for Ronnie Osmer, but to no one's surprise, it's Jeff Wright currently on the pole. Daytona winner Justin Carey on the racetrack. He'll complete his second lap of the day, and he'll jump up to 15th on the board as there's James Loveland on the racetrack sliding sideways, and will have to abort his qualifying lap. And we're talking about this track being hot and slick, and it's in the middle of the day here. That's something, especially at Las Vegas. This track very heat sensitive and is known at sometimes for really grinding up the tires, shredding the tires, and no doubt about it, tire fall off is going to be something to monitor throughout this night. And James Loveland's going to have to go to the back. So not getting a lap in. Jake Mackey not getting a lap in. And Kyle Payne, I don't believe has rolled the car out yet. So a solid field. I would even say one of the bigger fields we've had this season, Logan, is you could see 80 ambient and a 113 track. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this race will develop over time.
I sure hope it's not 180 degrees out there. That would that might melt race cars, let alone tires.
Having been to this wonderful facility at Las Vegas, I could tell you, being in the hundreds one time, this Vegas gets hot. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I believe every single bit of that. And I've been out to Vegas. Luckily, it was in the winter time, so it wasn't too terrible for me. But it was still quite warm out there, even in the middle of December. So that was an odd experience. First time out to the desert, but it was a blast.
And Vegas, one of the more unique racetracks we'll go to earlier, the Neon Garage, the Fan Experience Vegas, one of those tracks so fan-friendly as qualifying has wrapped up here tonight. And now the starting grid for tonight's BTDY 195 here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jeff Wright will roll off the pole, and this is, I think, his third pole of the season here. Sorry, the Martin Sports 180. Correct myself there. Jeff Wright on the pole with a 957. And to his outside, the Magic Man, Adam Cabot, showing up once again here on a mile and a half. We'll see what Adam Cabot can do. Rolling off outside pole. Row number 2 has Ronnie Osmer, who we saw qualify in third. And then to his outside, Noah Mahalski. Good to see him back after a week's disappearance, but back here rolling off inside the top 5 and 4. Keith Mayato, who's hungry. He's been hungry for a win. He's finished second 2 weeks in a row. He'll be rolling off 5th in the 36 car. And Angelo Ronis, good to see him be back in that 29 Ford Mustang. He rolls off in the 6th place position. The Italian Stallion, last week's winner, who absolutely dominated at the Nashville Super Speedway, will start 7th. And to his outside, making his first start of the season and his first career BTDY start, Michael Stroll in the 38 car, who was 2nd in practice, rolls off 8th. And behind them, it's Chris Samard in the 77 car rolling off 9th. And how about Caleb Weekly coming back into their series, rolling off in 10th.
Back here behind our top 10, we've got Dennis Faircloth in the 80 machine with a 31-135 next to Ray Massey in the 23, starting out there in 12th. 13th will go to Dallas Sullivan in the 46 machine next to Alan Dice in the 5. 15th will be the BTDY rookie Justin Carey Daytona winner in the 21 next to Cody Adkins in the 55. 17th will be Jeremiah Vincent in that 3 machine next to Aaron Lee in the 32. Last but not least, in our top 20, we've got Jace Coley in the 65 next to Max Cost in the 63.
Then at 21st, it's Zach Smith in the 91. James Loveland, who we saw spin at qualifying, will have to roll off 22nd. He might be somebody to watch in a march up through the field. And the final row of race cars here tonight in row number 12, it's rookie Jake Mackey in the 99 with Kyle Payne in the 68, rolling off in 24th as the field gets to rolling. And the race cars will get humming here in just about a minute and a half or so. as we'll zoom in from our Goodyear blimp and look over the 1.5 mile racetrack. Logan, this race can provide some wild and crazy stuff. Who do you have going home with the prize here, going home with the cash in the bag on to the Christmas break?
You know, I'm just going to have to go ahead and go with the guy who I had to watch from the back of the pack take the win this weekend. It's the 48 of Jeff Wright. He was way too good just a couple days ago. He's fresh off of this track, so to not choose him is it's not a smart move. So I'm going to take the 48 machine.
Go with the guy that's finished second the last couple of weeks. I think Keith Maiato here. He's so good at Vegas. I can see him maybe having something here for Jeff Wright here as the field paces through 3 and 4. And in a weird one, no Seth Hatchell, no Brody Hayes, no Bailey Turner in this race. So Jeff Wright might have to fight off some new faces. Maybe an Adam Cabot, and Ronnie Osmer, and Angelo Ronas. Maybe even the driver making his first start, Michael Stroll. 120 laps, 180 miles in the Martin Sports 180. Pace car is pulled off. Jeff Wright and Adam Cabot lead us to green in the desert of Las Vegas. So far, so good. Clean and green, lap number 1 on the board. Wright leads, then followed right up behind him. It's Adam Cabot. Then it's Stravato and Maiato, 3rd and 4th. And then a battle for 5th between Osmer and Ronas. But for the lead, Adam Cabot not letting Jeff Wright go, the reigning champion who's won 3 races this season. Don't count out the Magic Man here as well as they go into turn number 3.
Battle's already starting to develop, like you mentioned. Jeff Wright up here with Adam Cabot right in tow. Back there for that 5th spot. Side by side, Angelo Ronas and the blue 20 of Ronnie Osmer. Side by side all the way around this track 2 times now.
And Ronas finally clears, and that leaves Noah Mahalski, who makes a little bit of contact with the 20 of Ronnie Osmer, who gets up into the outside wall and stays in the outside wall in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Stroll goes by, and then here comes the 77 of Samard, followed by Weekly and Massey, but already a little bit of a rough start for that row number 2 that had Osmer and Mahalski that started 3rd and 4th. They've fallen back to 6th and 8th on the racetrack, so far not a good start for the drivers that rolled off 3rd and 4th. But up at the front, here comes AJ Stravato underneath Keith Maiato, who those 2 drivers can't seem to ever shake each other off. And look at that big move out of Ray Massey, who almost got to the side of Weekly, but battled for 3rd on the racetrack, the podium spot. Stravato going underneath Maiato here, and I think early in this race, maybe a little bit of give and take we'll see as Maiato lets the faster 33 car by.
AJ Stravato, he always has speed no matter where he's at. It's just a matter of, well, let's say chance, since we're here in Las Vegas, that he can keep it on the racetrack. He's been struggling with some bad luck.
He has, but he's finally gotten it right in the right direction, winning at Las Vegas, or excuse me, at Nashville Super Speedway last week. And we'll take a look at our points here in a little bit, but was able to at least get a marginable chunk out of Jeff Wright's point lead, who didn't have the greatest of races that we were expecting when he was going for 4 in a row. Didn't have it, but hey, nothing like winning 4 of the first 6 races of the season if Jeff Wright can pull this one out. But he's got Adam Cabot just kind of waiting behind him. We kind of see Keith Maiato do this last week, just hounding AJ Stravato, but wasn't able to get around him. But maybe tonight, maybe Adam Cabot can get his first win of the season, where the driver's running part-time. He's won a championship in this league before, and right now we're seeing Cabot just following the tire tracks of Jeff Wright.
Sometimes that's all you have to do, especially to start out the race. You know, one thing we always mention, it is a long race, 120 laps, not even 10 into it yet. So there's no need to press the issue if there's not an issue at hand.
Man, how about one of our biggest movers, the rookie Jace Cooley, started 19th and he's up to 12th already, gotten by Alan Dice, who we were also missing last week at Nashville Super Speedway. He is back to 13th, but Cooley up a lot of spots and a solid run for the rookie, who's currently leading the Rookie of the Year standings. So, but maybe we'll have to see throughout this year. Jake Mackey's up to 21st, and he's kind of slacked a little bit in terms of his oval performance, but has been a little bit better on the road courses. His oval looks like there was some contact with he and Payne behind the pack, and Aaron Lee, another rookie in this series, has kind of been with them, and he's riding with Mackey and Payne right now, but maybe a little bit more performance needed of that 32 car and 99 to catch up with Coley. And how about we give a shout out as well to the driver making his first career start tonight, Michael Stroll in the 38. He's running in the 7th place position, battling with Ronnie Osmer, and had a great practice time. She was second on the practice charts, but that silver and black 38 car, kind of a Dale Earnhardt or Kevin Harvick GM Goodwrench looking race car, he's having a good run, running in 7th and maybe looking to throw his hat into the ring of contending for races in his BTDY career, and maybe even Rookie of the Year standings if he decides to race full season.
Yeah, I mean, might as well stick with it. Obviously joining in quite a bit late here, race number 6, the Martin Sports 180 here at Las Vegas, but we've still got half a season left. He's got a chance to, put down some good performances and make his way into the chase. That'll start in just a few weeks.
Yeah, and again, appreciate all those tuning in as the 10 laps on the board are completed, and lap 11 goes on. And this being the final race of the season, at least, or I should say of the year, as Christmas break will happen next week. And then I believe New Year's break will also happen as well. So 2 weeks off after this weekend, and then we'll be back in the beginning of January, first week of January. So that'll be fun to come back to. So Las Vegas, the final race before the Christmas break, and I guess the final race of 2024, and what has been a very memorable season so far, as a battle for 4th on the racetrack. Angelo Ronas and Keith Maiato battling for the 4th place position.
I saw Ronas trying to take that outside line around Maiato. He's got the position for the time being, and he is now clear of the 36. He'll take that 4th spot, start chasing down the Italian stallion, AJ Stravato.
Ronas showing some really pretty solid middle run speed, and be interesting to see how many laps can these drivers go, and it is just a train of 10 cars. And how about this? Jeff Wright under pressure from the Magic Man, Adam Cabot, looking to the bottom for the race lead, but Wright able to hold on. And behind them, Maiato under pressure from Noah Mahalski here. Maiato loses a couple spots in just a couple laps and goes from what was 3rd on lap 1, and it's fallen back outside the top 5 and might lose maybe outside the top 6, because here comes Stroll in the 38.
Yeah, Stroll had a whole lot of momentum coming out of turn number 4. He's now to that rear quarter panel of Keith Maiato, to the door into the entry of turn 1. Sticks it all the way through 2. He'll have the momentum on the outside, and he will get clear of the 36 before turn number 3.
And Stroll gets up to 6th, Maiato down to 7th, and Osmer under pressure from Samard, and then pressure from Massey and Dallas Sullivan. And I'm starting to notice these drivers slipping and sliding around, but even better, maybe moving around the racetrack. I'm looking at Caleb Weekly and Chase Coley, who has just been on a tear through this field, has already worked himself. We're talking about he's back to 13th, but I think the 7 doing a good job trying to hold these guys off, but these guys kind of struggling behind him, trying to find a way around, but moving around the racetrack as we're on board with Chase Coley.
It's going to be a lot of adapting to where the grip is on the track. With it being as hot as it is here today, finding that grip is going to mean every little bit of a millisecond that you can possibly get.
We'll see as we're on board with the Coley Pipe and Steel Supply Incorporated Chevrolet Camaro. Coley goes to the outside of the Trevor Ford Mustang with Caleb Weekly behind them, and then he's chased, and we'll see the Affinity for Gaming 5 of Alan Dice peek underneath Jace Coley here for 13th on the racetrack. This is one of the more spirited battles on this race, 1.5 mile racetrack here. Battle for 13th, 14th, and 15th as well, and even 12th. Throw Weekly in 12th, so good battle. And these guys slowly but surely maybe losing a little bit of time to the top 11. Sullivan all by himself in that Lego car, and then a little bit ahead to Massey. So this guy's starting to move around and trying to find some paces. It looks like maybe a change on our leaderboard. Mahalski got up to 4th past Ronis, but Ronis with a crossover down the backstretch, trying to find a way around him.
You know, it's interesting to look at the stat line here. We're already a little over a second off the pace, and we're not even 20 laps into this, Alec.
That sure is. There's a lot of good battles on this racetrack as Mahalski finally clears. Now Coley is underneath the 7 of Weekly, and he's got pressure from Dice. And like you said, really a lot of good battles on the racetrack to keep our eyes on. And I'll tell you what, maybe something a lot of guys don't notice. From in the car you notice, but on a broadcast standpoint and watching as a viewer, sometimes you don't realize how rough and how bumpy this racetrack is, especially in turn 1 and turn 3. There are some bumps on the inside and can affect when you're underneath the car and getting all the air taken away from you. And this might get tight between Coley and Atkins going to have to get out of the gas, and that's going to allow now James Loveland, who had to start in the back, who's been up a couple positions, but hasn't had as much of a charge as I thought we might see. Just behind them here is Coley running Atkins tight into turn 1.
Yeah, as you were mentioning, kind of the features of this track, that low line right on the white line through 1 and 2, it is as bumpy as you can get for a racetrack. But if you move up just a car length, ride that seam through 1 and 2, it's just as flat as can be.
There is. Oh, Coley gets loose.
Big time loose.
A huge save out of the rookie Coley, who's right underneath the 55 of Atkins. And this has been one of the more just entertaining battles on the racetrack. Probably the best battle on the racetrack between these guys. The 7 and the 5 have been battling side by side for 2 laps now. Atkins closing up. They both get loose off the exit of the corner. Dice goes back up in line, and Cody Atkins looks to go get around him, but won't. And now Dice going up a little bit higher, searching around the racetrack, trying to find some clean air to the nose to get around Weekly. But Weekly showing he's no slouch to get around, because here comes a big push from the 55 to the 5, and Dice going to have a huge run down this front stretch, and even James Loveland right in the mix here as well. This track is really, really wide and really good racing so far early in this race.
Yeah, fantastic racing so far. And let's take a look back up here at the lead as Jeff Wright now out to about a quarter of a second on Adam Cabot here. AJ Stravato in tow behind that 17. So Jeff Wright finding the speed, having that clean air on the front nose of the 48's really, really helping.
That big moment off of 4. Weekly hit the wall. Dice almost spun in the infield trying to get around, and that has allowed Cody Atkins to get by. But this is another good battle. Stroll and Mayato battling for 6th on the racetrack, and they're trying to sort it out here, and they do, and Stroll holds on. But this battle just outside the top 10, hot and heavy, as Atkins got the 2-for-1 special. Loveland trying to get the 2-for-1 special as well, as he's past Dice now, trying to work around the 7 of Weekly. Jeremiah Vincent and Justin Carey have now joined the battle as well. So more cars coming in, even Max Koss tagging along as well. So this has been just an amazing battle on the racetrack here. Now we're starting to see maybe Loveland getting by Weekly here. Coley's dropping back as he gets the wall. He hits Vincent and he spins him down the backstretch. And a caution will come out for the first time tonight as the 3 of Vincent gets spun. And that is the first caution of the evening, and not a little, I should say a little bit, maybe heavier damage on the 3 who had contact with Chase Coley off of 2. The first caution of the evening comes out, and we were talking about how wild and crazy this battle on the racetrack was, and maybe just overstepping the limit too much, hits the wall, bounces off, and he catches the 3 off of 2.
I'll tell you who had a really good view of that was Max Koss.
Max Koss.
Let's take that back and take a ride on top of the 63 machine. See exactly what he saw here. Obviously a little bit further back, coming across the start-finish line. We'll see this start to unfold on the exit of turn number 2 here. Again, on top of the 63 machine. We'll see it right here in front of him as Coley gets into the wall. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Just barely got into the 3.
And he was really reeling in this battle and just missed it with that wreck coming out and that caution coming out, as now the field brings it into pit road here, and well, becomes very interesting now. Some pit stops, maybe a better way to get past on the racetrack and get some track position here as the field coming down pit road, and it'll be very interesting to see who can maybe have a good stop. And Jeff Wright just made his box, but had to back up, so that'll be interesting to see if maybe Adam Cabot can beat him out of pit road. There's Jeremiah Vincent into his box, and this will be a great race off of pit road. And we'll see. Jeff Wright's crew gets it back, and how about AJ Stravato going to reel in third? Angelo Ronis gets a couple spots there up to fourth, and Mahalski, followed by Mayato, Stroll, Osmer, then Massey and Samard, the top 10 as the field funnels out of pit road, and we go to caution. Gives us some time to hear a little bit of words from our sponsors here tonight. And we'll be right back for the restart.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
And back live here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The restart here on lap 27. Pace car pulls off. It's Jeff Wright and Adam Cabot, the front row. Green flag back out in the air. We're back underway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Wright gets away nicely, and now behind them a fight for second. Stravato and Cabot battle side by side into one, then followed by Ronis and a couple of rows of side by side racing behind them from seventh on back.
You think the strategy will change anymore here, Alec?
I think it could. There's a little contact. Keith Mayato gets a bump from Noah Mahalski, and he slides sideways in front of half the field, and Sullivan gets turned down the front stretch and into the infield grass. No caution coming out, but a huge hit in track position for the 46 of Sullivan as he drops to dead last.
Well, that was quite the sequence.
It sure was, but to answer your question here is a battle for the lead, and I'll get to that in a second because this is huge. Here comes Cabot to the inside of Wright here for the race lead. Slid sideways, almost contact between the top two. This time, the first time Wright has been challenged for the race lead on board with AJ Stravato behind them. Cabot sends it off into turn one, but gets loose on the bottom. No side force to the 17th car, and Wright powers back ahead.
Adam Cabot took a risk. You got to do that here.
He almost made it. You sure do. And I'll tell you what, though, it'll be interesting to see how this strategy now plays out. Keith Mayato had a big moment there, slid those tires, and he's still struggling. Probably the freshness of those tires gone compared to most. But no, I think maybe we'll see these guys try to cut that run, maybe even in half now, if they can make it, because just a lot less to worry about is the thing.
Yeah, the longer you can stay out here, the better. But at the same time, this tire fall off was incredible in that first 20 laps. As I mentioned earlier, it was about a full second and a quarter in just 20 laps. That is insane fall off.
That is a lot of fall off when you talk about tire wear and stuff. And right now we're seeing it, and we're just a couple laps in, and already 0.3 of a second off their best laps.
However, some of these drivers did set new best lap times. Jeff Wright, one of them, the only driver in the 30-second range with a 30.918. Second fastest belongs to Adam Cabot with the 31.009.
Yeah, he's both those drivers, probably when they were racing for the lead, it was when they turned their fastest lap time as Stroll behind Weekly here. And this is a battle for 9th on the racetrack, just behind Keith Mayato in 8th, and behind these two is Samard. And how about Dennis Faircloth, who was running in 24th when that caution came out? He's up to 12th here after just a couple of laps of racing, so a big mover of this restart. Dennis Faircloth, and that's in Magic 80 Toyota Supra, followed by Loveland, Dice, and then Atkins and Cost.
Got James Loveland right now. He's our highest mover at the moment with 9 positions gained since the start of this race. You know, we mentioned the 99 of Jake Mackey earlier. He was kind of running in the back of the pack. He's now worked his way up to the 19th spot, battling for it with Jeremiah Vincent, up 4 positions from where he was. You know, you mentioned him being a little bit better at the road course races. I believe that's going to be stemming from all of his road course experience with the big contact there. But all that road course experience that he's putting down in these Xfinity cars comes from that big, fast racing team of his that you see there on the hood. But it's not Bass Pro Shops.
Looks like a Noah Gregson paint scheme. Oh, Kyle Payton loose on the bottom. Coley gets the wall. Sullivan gets 2 of them down the backstretch. It's Payne and Lee having to avoid Zach Smith just in the background. Might hit the wall there, and now Sullivan behind Coley. And this a battle inside the top 10. Caleb Weekly, Michael Stroll in the 38, who had to check up avoiding that wreck, or that was almost a wreck with Keith Mayato. And this an interesting, good battle on the racetrack. Weekly, we saw him start a little bit longer run, maybe to try to get some track position, but Stroll hanging tough on the bottom.
This battle is, I don't see this one going away anytime soon. Weekly and Stroll have been side by side for almost 35 laps now.
And he was sliding, and you saw Weekly hanging that right rear out on the racetrack and doing a good job. And now, how about this battle for the lead again? Cabot to the inside of Jeff Wright here, racing for the lead down the Dallas straightaway. They'll go side by side, but Wright pulls momentum off, and Cabot goes back up in line. It's a top 6 breakaway between Wright, Cabot, Stravato, Ronis, Osmer, and Mahalski. But this time, Cabot seems to be putting a lot more pressure on Wright in this run than he was the last one.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot closer, but we still are early. We saw Cabot kind of fall off after about 10 to 15 laps. That's when Jeff Wright got that quarter of a second distance between first and second place. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if things change this time around, if Cabot was able to navigate this track a little bit better than what he did in that first 30 laps. Make this a competition up here for the lead.
It seemed to be like there's just not as much of a top lane as you would hope, at least when it comes to racing for the lead with Jeff Wright. It just seems like it's hard to find a way to get around here. We'll see Cabot go like middle here, just above those bumps, and we'll see if he can get a good run this time. He's going to have a nice run down this backstretch. We'll see if he can get to the inside here of Jeff Wright. I think he might, and he will. Here comes Cabot once again to the inside of Jeff Wright, but Wright runs him really tight into turn number 3, and this time I think Wright will be able to clear off a 4.
Wright is able to stay right on that seam that you see there in the middle of the track. That's where the grip is right now. Adam Cabot doing a great job of putting pressure on Wright. He is not budging from that line. He's been running all race long.
And it makes you wonder, maybe if these two are burning their tires up, if AJ Stravato or Angelo Ronis can pick up the pieces if these guys either get together or burn their stuff off. And I do want to make it very interesting. Look at how much darker where they're running, the leaders, how dark it is down where they're running. And really a lot of rubber buildup there on the bottom, especially in 1 and 2. We'll point it out here is, look at when they go into turns 1 and 2, how much darker that bottom line, wrapping the white line is. I mean, they get right here, And you can just tell, look at that dark rubber line where compared to everybody else, it's a little bit light gray, but it's a dark gray in the middle of 1 and 2, just on that bottom lane. Doesn't seem to be much of an outside lane there.
Yeah, I gotta give it to the iRacing developers. They did a fantastic job with this most recent update, being able to display that driving line as well as they have. That is a relatively new feature. They've been working on it, but I almost feel like they nearly perfected it this time with this release.
And you can see just the rubber building up here. We haven't really seen a lot of marbles develop. We'll probably see as this run goes on, this race goes on. If nobody really runs the top, then there'll be marbles that'll develop up there. And for sure, I think I'd have to guess on the apron, we'll see a lot of marbles as this race continues to go on, and see marbles just be on the racetrack. And that's going to be interesting for pit exit later in this race. As Stroll is trying to find a way around. Weekly almost catches the wall. There's Alan Dice, and Kodiak is just up ahead of him. Weekly might have caught the wall there, and there's this battle. Stroll back up to 9th, and how about Chris Samara looking to get 10th away from Weekly, although Stroll going to give him the dirty air. That might affect the exit for Samard here, but Weekly going to power back on the outside with momentum.
As Samard almost had that position locked in, just could not quite get between the 38 and the 7 there, but this time he should be able to slide up in front of Weekly, and he does.
He does. Samard goes low to cover the crossover from Weekly. Weekly has to get out of the gas and now falls under pressure to Samard's teammate James Loveland in the 02 car. So Loveland's starting to work himself up through. There's Dennis Faircloth just a little bit behind them. And then Cody Atkins and Alan Dice, two teammates battling side by side. There may be almost a little contact between the two teammates there. That's the battle for 14th and 15th. This right here, 11th or 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th here on the racetrack. And now Loveland gonna look to the inside of Caleb Weekly.
It's just hard to get a good drive off of the corner on that low line. Typically see that trailing car fall back into line. But man, this is the first time I think Weekly and Stroll have been apart from each other.
Yeah, and they've kind of separated now, and this battle for the lead's kind of cooled down a little bit, but nonetheless, Cabot has still kept right in his sight and his point of view, but AJ Stravato has reeled these two drivers in a little bit, and that time Stravato, the fastest of the three cars here, so AJ Stravato showing some good long-run pace, and I think Jeff Wright and Cabot, they might be pushing their tires a little bit harder than this 33, because he is, in fact, just kept with them, and these top two have really been battling hard for this race lead. Clean air, so important here.
Yeah, clean air is just every... I don't really know how to say it, but every bit of clean air that you can get is gonna matter.
Every driver's dream to have some clean air, especially in today's day of stock car racing. Not as important as it would be in the Cup car, at least in real life, but in iRacing, the dirty air sometimes helps, sometimes hurts. Normally in real life, it's more of a hurt than help. But Ronnie Osmer under pressure from Noah Mahosky, and Ray Massey under pressure from Keith Mayato. So Mayato doing a good job recovering from that halfway spin that we saw on the first lap of the restart on lap 27. So doing a good job, back up to 7th, but now a little bit up the roads to go, and only 3 seconds or so behind Jeff Wright, the leader, but kind of think he's got a little bit of tire chewed off just from a spin.
Yeah, especially that early in the run, that's going to heat up that tire a lot faster than everybody else, thus giving it more wear quicker than everybody else.
Absolutely. Dallas Sullivan, who took a trip down to the infield, has just struggled outside the top 20 now. Maybe a little bit of damage, I think you could tell, on the left rear of the 46 Lego Ford Mustang, and I think that is hurting the performance of that 46 car, and is, you could tell, really sliding around. So I think that's unfortunately going to hinder his performance unless he can get a caution, as looks like Ronnie Osper got passed by Mahalski, and then the battle for second. How about this? AJ Stravato getting by Adam Cabot here for second in the 33, moves up to the second place position and looks to set his sights on Jeff Wright.
I would have to say, I think you're right, Alec. I think Stravato was just waiting for everybody else to
fall off.
Yeah. Just waiting for his moment, and he finally found it.
We'll see, maybe Cabot's starting to lose some time here and struggle. 3/10 off of AJ Stravato, and Stravato a tenth faster than Jeff Wright here. And we'll see if he can find a way in the dirty air behind the 48, if he can find a way around Jeff Wright here for the race lead. And interesting development on the racetrack. Jace Coley had to bring it down pit road, 2 laps down. Now 58-second pit stop, maybe pitted and got a speeding penalty, but that's going to hurt his day in points here as he's 24, 3 laps down.
We still have an opportunity for Coley to make it back up here to the lead lap. Plenty of racing left, not quite halfway through this. Potential for cautions, especially at the end of the run once these tires are extremely slick. Track temperature surely has to be up. It is down 109 on the track, down 4 degrees.
Interesting. Stroll able to get by Massey. Now Samard trying to get by Massey for 9th on the racetrack here as Stravato just stuck in that air bubble here behind Jeff Wright. But when we're going into turn 1, Michael Stroll, and how about Chris Samard now inside the top 10? He's kind of followed Stroll through the pack. And now James Loveland trying to go to the outside. Massey might just fall outside the top 10 here in just about a lap and a half. Oh, Ryan Osmer! Big slide off of turn number 4, and he is going through the infield grass, and that was almost a big incident and dragged some dirt across the start-finish line. But look at a VSPEED instant replay. He get into the marbles?
I think he got into the marbles. That back end just kind of kicked out behind him and tagged the wall, sent him down to the infield.
If you want to go back and look at that, you can tell the marbles flying up off the racetrack there. Look at the marbles flying up off the racetrack in that camera shot there. He's got some on his tires, and he went right around really quick. And, you know, we don't talk about marbles a lot in stock car racing. They exist, but it's very rare you see them at, like, you know, Bristol or Martinsville. But mainly in IndyCar and ovals, you'll talk about marbles. But this new update, maybe gonna have to start talking about it, mention it more when we see guys get up on the racetrack or get up the racetrack like that.
Bearcloth with a big slide out of 2. What a save!
Sure was. Good save. Wow. That was almost pretty big.
You know, one thing I'm noticing here, Alec, too, you know, on the topic of the marbles, you can see little particles every once in a while.
Off the racetrack, yeah.
Flying around past our cameras here. That's what those little black dots are that you'll see falling from the sky, seemingly.
Yeah, you did tend to notice that here. It's this battle for the lead. Jeff Wright is still about a 10th or so ahead of AJ Stravato, who just seems to be struggling in the dirty air of the 48 and just can't find a way around him at the moment. And it's just kind of maybe hurting the tires that he saved. It's just hurting him now. And Stravato just has to keep going a little bit higher, get out of the air until he gets to the exit.
Yeah, that clean air on the 33. As long as he can stay out from directly behind Jeff Wright, he'll be able to, you know, keep that front end planted as best as he can. As you see where Stravato takes just a little bit lower of a line through 3 and 4 there. It's that clean air on that front left of the 33, and it helps.
It does. I'll tell you who's got some good long run pace though. 3 of Mahalski just got by Angelo Ronis, and he's really having a good. Oh, trouble down the front stretch. Max Cost is spinning, and he's in the infield. No caution as the field comes by. Alan Dice into pit road, but Max Cost went around, and I'm curious to see what happened. Oh, Dennis Faircloth gets it to the outside wall and sends the 63 spinning.
A really good save by Max, though. Stayed pretty well sideways, didn't over-rotate and blow the 63 over.
Good save here. Angelo Ronis getting past by now 2 cars on the racetrack. Lost to a spot to
Bonnie Osmer coming down.
Osmer down pit road, yeah. But lost a spot to Mahalski and loses another one to Mayato. Mayato really fast on the racetrack right now. It was actually the fastest car at last lap. Makes you wonder if he didn't get in that first lap incident, how good he really could have been as Cost brings it down pit road. And this will be interesting to tell. Look at Jace Coley coming up underneath Ronis. He has about, I don't know, 15 lap pressure tires, and he's really worked himself up through this pack, but it's still, like we said, 3 laps down. But into pit road. Alan Dice now on the racetrack here. Max Koss brought it down pit road. I'm curious to see what Ronnie Osmer turns as he exits pit road. So this battle, man, Stravato's got so much more pace. He's struggling. I think maybe the best way to do it is if you short pit right here, get that clean air. That might be the difference. Cabot 1.7 seconds back. Wow.
Stravato is all over that back bumper of Jeff Wright right now, and you know that he has got to be pushing Jeff Wright to his limit, using up every bit of tire advantage he thought that he had.
Yeah, we talk about how much did Wright really push his tires racing Cabot, and he had that clean air, but it seemed like it really mattered because he's still been able to hold right in front of AJ Stravato, and they have really just gapped Adam Cabot, and now Angelo Ronas into pit road. So this could be the spark that ignites everybody coming down pit lane here, and good battle between the lap car. There's Coley on the bottom, and now Keith Maiato trying to get around Noah Mahalski for fourth.
Maiato's going to be able to take advantage of Jace Coley getting in front of Mahalski.
Maiato's just got really, really good long run speed as well. So good to see. I just maybe it'd been interesting if he didn't get clipped on that start of the restart, where he could have been maybe in this battle in the top three. Possibly, as he's already caught Cabot, and I think with the pace he has, he'll probably get around Cabot very quick, and be interested to see where are these guys willing to split. I think I've already seen Osmer think that he's going to pit at least another time. Maybe these guys trying to stretch it really far. If not, maybe get it to the end of this race, or at least on one stop, and battle on the racetrack. Loveland battle for 8th. Loveland and Massey. How about this? Stravato coming in.
So
Got a short pit.
First one of our leaders.
Right, he's got a short pit. Jeff Wright here, so this will be interesting. I would have to assume force the hand of the 48 team to come in.
It's also going to very much slow down Jeff Wright here, as he has no partner to draft with, so it might not be a big difference, but I would expect to see Maiato and Cabot start to catch up.
So Wright going to try to do the full, a big overcut maybe, as Stravato tries the undercut, and Maiato gets by Cabot here as they'll go by Stravato exiting pit lane, and he'll get back to full speed here in just a moment. We'll see as he has to navigate pit exit here, and we'll join behind Osmer, who jumps him with a little bit fresher tires, or a little bit older tires, 5 laps the difference. So Jeff Wright stays on the racetrack another lap, and maybe, I don't want to question the strategy, but how much is too much if you stay out too far and lose too much time?
You know, on the back end of that,
He's going to be fast.
Yeah, he's going to be really fast whenever he comes back out compared to some of these guys. You know, if he can stay out for another 5 or so laps, come in around lap 70, that'll give him roughly an 8 to 10 lap advantage on most of the field that's already pit. Now, granted, 1st through 15th has not visited pit lane yet, so there's still quite a few cars there to contend with.
And we'll see Stravato. He's going to blow by these cars that are on the lead lap that have older tires, about 40 lap older tires than Stravato, 38 lap, fresher tires for Stravato. And look at just the speed he carries, and he'll just go right on by Chris Simard here, and it's with ease. It looks like a car with more horsepower kind of thing, but right now just falls right. Oh, wow, that was almost a big moment there for James Loveland. And Jeff Wright staying on the racetrack still, but Osmer going to run up on these top 3 here as Stroll gets passed by Stravato, and Coley gets by Maiato. Now Osmer gets by. These fresher tires really trying to make some time here, and Coley's struggling now. Atkins is, I believe, in pit road now, so Loveland coming in. Interesting here. How much longer does Jeff Wright go? Maybe try to get to 45? Oh, this is really going to hurt Stravato, who has to go from bottom to top on the exit of the corner, squeezing the 36 and the 65, and contact between Maiato and Coley, and they get it all righted around, and Jeff Wright all by himself now, with no pressure to kind of just run his own pace. He's turning 32.91s, so we'll see here, compared to Stravato, who's turning 30 31.5, so a second and a half faster a lap.
Looks like, well, I take it back. Jeff Wright is not coming down still.
He's out again. I think 45, we might see Wright come in, so which will get us to about lap 70. But still will mean he'd have to make another pit stop. Because there goes Osmer by, and then Stravato just behind him, we can see running his line, is going to blow by Jeff Wright here down the backstretch. So I think maybe now we'll see Wright come into pit road.
Now would be the time to do it. He still has a 2.5 second gap back to second place.
Well, he stays out another lap. Okay, interesting. I mean, I just think there's a point where how long is too long? 6 laps for Stravato already. He's already pulled 4 seconds on Jeff Wright, and he was right behind him entering his pit stop, and now has pulled him, unlapped himself, and continues to pull away. Obviously, if Wright gets a caution, he's in much better shape, but you look at Cabot and Mayato, they continue to stay on the racetrack, and that time Jeff Wright at 33.1, where Mayato at 32.8. Be too much fall off for this 48. Maybe he's pushed the tires too hard after battling Cabot and battling Stravato that time at 32.99, where Mayato at 32.88. So still slower than the cars behind him. And Mahalski now underneath Adam Cabot here for third, currently on the racetrack. And now Keith Mayato is coming in. And we'll see if Jeff Wright decides it's time for him to pit. And I think he has decided it is not. So now Mayato comes in, and Jeff Wright turning considerably slower lap times than Mayato and Cabot and Mahalski. And even Stroll continues to stay out on the racetrack, where AJ Stravato is only 26 seconds behind him now, lapping a second and a half faster a lap.
Now on the flip side of that, Jeff Wright will be turning faster lap times than Stravato. However, Jeff Wright could be possibly holding out for a potential caution.
You can make it on one stop, and one stop is a possibility too. But you would need Jeff Wright to go another. Ooh, man, I mean, he's good at least if he cut it in half here, but maybe go another 10 more laps to make it just one more, a 40 lap run if you can. But we'll see as more guys come in. Stroll's in, Massey is in.
Justin Carey, who we haven't talked too much about, he's up here in the top 5 now with all this pit cycling happening. He's on that same stint as Jeff Wright up there. 47 laps.
And Jeff Wright's finally coming in, but he was in hot that last time. Just comes in, but now leaves Cabot and Mahalski on the racetrack. But Jeff Wright was hot on the brakes coming in. I think he just made it, but oh man, he came in hot.
Keep an eye on that pit box time and see if he picked up any sort of a hold penalty for that.
Yeah, we'll see. And right now, Jeff Wright just got to his box. And Stravato will just now pass him. So he'll have about a half a track gap over Jeff Wright, I'd have to guess. So we'll see here. Stravato already exiting 2. Jeff Wright just left his pit box. And Cabot now staying out on the racetrack. Mahalski now into pit road. So that leaves just Cabot, the lone car to bring it down pit road.
Now that could be dangerous for Cabot. He won't have anybody to work with to get any sort of top-end speed down the backstretch. He'll likely be all alone once he cycles back out.
And here's another interesting thing for Jeff Wright. Mayato, I know 2 laps the difference, but he just jumped Jeff Wright. So that's an interesting thing. And Ronnie Osmer running in second, who has 5 lap older tires of the drivers that have, or 5 lap older tires than AJ Stravato, one of the first drivers to bring it down pit lane. Now it's going to have some pressure from Angelo Ronis in the 29.
See the 99, Jake Mackey taking that low line, much fresher tires than Osmer has. Like you said earlier.
Cabot into pit road goes Adam Cabot, so now hands the lead over to AJ Stravato with a 13-second lead over the driver. He was trailing Jeff Wright, so be able to see how much does that hurt or help the 33 who is stuck in lap traffic behind Jeremiah Vincent, who just exited his box.
See just how well Stravato
Oh.
can do here without having Jeff Wright in front of him now.
Got the wall there that last time. That's interesting. But him and Carey, or excuse me, Jeremiah Vincent, Justin Carey just came in and they got their fresh tires. They'll pull Stravato here, but Stravato kind of needs them to go.
Right before we swap cameras here, Chris Samard overtook Dennis Faircloth in that 80 machine, waved as he did it, and said, "I'm sorry."
And he gets on by and goes to 8th. Faircloth back to 9th. And now Cody Atkins running in 10th, and Michael Stroll and Ray Massey 11th and 12th. But Stroll had a really, really good pit sequence compared to a lot of these drivers. Stravato had a 39.7. Osmer actually had the fastest pit stop of everybody. He had a 39.4. So really, really good pit road speed as Angelo Ronis goes by Osmer. But then after Jeff Wright, who had a 39.9, but how about Michael Stroll, a 40.1. So solid entrance and exits of pit road. And Cabot now, with the freshest tires in the field, is 13th. The good thing for, I guess, for AJ Stravato, he didn't have much traffic ahead, where Jeff Wright's having to bomb and kind of get through traffic pretty quick. And over the couple laps, he's only cut, I mean, and it sounds crazy, but 3 seconds over the last 6 or 7 laps, it's not as much as I thought.
Yeah, you would think that difference would be quite a bit. He's got an 11-lap advantage on AJ Stravato on the tires. So I'd say once Stravato starts to level out around that 32.5-second lap time is when we'll really start to see Jeff Wright be able to pick up the speed and make up that second difference per lap.
Well, here's another thing. Keith Mayato's ahead of Jeff Wright, and I can see where that may be hurting the performance of the 48, being in that dirty air. There's no clean air to the 48's nose, but how quick can he make the pass on the 36? If so, but I'd assume Keith Mayato's probably going to fight him here, you know, as much as he can without overstepping it. But just kind of just been stuck behind the 36 here.
I also had the dirty air there, the 46. Dallas Sullivan as well. I finally got clear of him, opened up a lane for him to try to really attack Keith Mayado now.
Keith's going to let him go.
Jeff Wright to the outside of Mayado, and this is the line that he's liked all night. That seam right there, you see the 48 straddling. Mayado a little bit loose down there at the bottom. Jeff Wright able to clear with no problems at all.
Looking here, Jeff Wright's going to have to go, what, 48 laps on tires? Could we see AJ Stravato bring it back in pit road? Because he would have to be going 59 laps on tires.
Very interesting to see Stravato's strategy come out. He had that speed to catch back up to Jeff Wright almost after he pit. So it's a possibility that we might see Stravato come back down with not too many laps to go. I don't know. We'll just have to let this develop a little bit.
Well, a caution obviously would flip this race on its head, and don't get me wrong, still a possibility. We've got Ray Massey, Adam Cabot, Michael Stroll, all battling for position. So don't get me wrong, there's still a very big possibility of a caution coming out in this race and really affecting the outcome of it. But right now we stay green. We're going to anticipate this race goes green, and we'll have to see how this race shakes out after what will be about less than 40 laps to go.
It's coming down to the wire here. Like you said, these three, they've been battling at it for the last couple of laps here between Stroll, Massey, Cabot. Cabot, who we've seen up at the front pretty well the entire time, finding himself in the 11th position at the moment. Not able to make any sort of headway just yet, but he does have an advantage on everybody in front of him in this field as he'll take that inside line and take away the 10th spot from Ray Massey, slot up right in front of him, and now start making moves on Michael Stroll.
And Dice just came into pit road, so yes, like you said, now we see Cabot battling Stroll, battling Massey. Stroll going to pinch Cabot low on the white line here off of 2, but down the Nella straightaway they'll go side by side for what is the battle for 8th on the racetrack here, and into turn number 3 they'll go. and it goes to Cabot up to 8th.
Ray Massey was almost able to follow Cabot on that low line, as Jeff Wright has also seemingly moved up to 3rd past Ronnie Osmer at the same time.
Yeah, Osmer actually up into the outside wall there, so a little bit of contact with the outside wall, and we saw him do that on lap 1 of the race, and really fell back and went down the racetrack, or down the running order, but still a solid run for Osmer. But we might see him be another driver bringing it down pit road, because he pitted even before AJ Stravato and Angelo Ronas did, and here comes Osmer.
I have to say, I am extremely impressed with the 0-2 of James Loveland. He's moved up 17 positions. Started out in 22nd, now sitting in the top 5.
Solid run for him. I think he's even on the cusp of, can he make it to the end? He's got a long way to go. He's going to be going about 55, 56 laps. It's a long way to go. We'll have to see, as Ronas under pressure has already gotten passed by Wright up to 2nd. And now Mayato's going to probably get passed here in turns 1 and 2. So it's playing into the favor of Wright, but I really do think, we might see more these drivers come back into pit road again. But when, I don't know, it's going to be tough. I don't see Stravato really holding off Wright with the tire advantage he has, but it's still 3.5 seconds, and that tire advantage going from 2 seconds to second laps down only 5/10. And if these guys even out on tires, how much will they even out by the time Wright gets there? Only 3/10 last time. I'm very impressed with the pace that Wright has, or excuse me, that Stravato has 11 laps more on tires than Jeff Wright.
What do you say we take a ride on board with AJ Stravato, see what he's kind of doing, see if he's backing down these corners?
Good idea. It sounded a lot of backing off to me.
Yeah, no, it sounded like he was still going in there pretty hot and still quite loose through that bottom section of 1 and 2. 3 and 4. Let's see here. No, he's still just, I would say, at least 90% pace.
Look at those marbles on the apron. A lot of marble on the apron. We'll see here this time. Jeff Wright only 0.2 faster. I don't know if that's just not going to be enough. He'll get to him, but now that's a half a second out of him, so not bad there. But I mean, look at Jeff Wright. He's got some pressure from. He's got pressure from the 36. Mayato not letting Wright go.
Mayato making a smart call there to follow Jeff Wright as much as he can.
Cabot up to 5th. Remember, he has the freshest tires in the field.
AJ Stravato just came down the
coming in. He's coming in. So there's the difference. But 20 laps, I don't think 20 laps is going to be enough of difference on tires for him to run him down.
It could be. I mean, we're going to see Jeff Wright start creeping up to that 32.5 to 33 second lap time. And Stravato's going to come back out on track running the low 31s, so he's going to come out immediately with a 2-second advantage.
Is it going to be enough? I think that's the thing. He would need, a 2-second advantage for 15 or so laps, and he's going to go a lap down. I don't think that's going to get Stravato the win. It might get him a top 10. I don't even know if it'll give him a top 5, because we know Loveland will have to pit. We know Rodas already came in, actually, so this could hand Stroll, Samard, and Massey 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack. Maybe Stroll getting the top 5 out of this, as he just clears ahead of Loveland, and Stroll goes up to 4th. And Stroll pitted the same lap, or actually pitted the lap after Jeff Wright, or lap before Jeff Wright, excuse me. So yeah, I think if we're anticipating these drivers to make it to the end, which I would have to say we are, they're going to have to go for 53 laps on tires?
Man, Alec, you know how many times we've said we're not very good at math over here at VSPEED? You're asking me to do math.
Yeah. With 27 laps to go here, we'll see the difference. Osmer's already pitted. Stravato, 5-lap pressure tires here. A battle for 15th on the racetrack. As Cody Atkins comes in, I'm curious. Is it a possibility we see Jeff Wright and Keith Maiato come in, or do you think they're sticking out and going to the end?
I would have to say they're going to stick it out and go to the end. There's no way. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're at just about 25 laps to go. We've been seeing these cars run that 45 to 50 lap stint. That'll put them right there in that area.
Yeah. We do got to remember, too, we had a couple extra cautions laps to maybe save some fuel. This time, no caution laps, so that could be something interesting to see as Keith Maiato not letting Jeff Wright go here. Maybe this lap car, Jake Mackey, might affect the exit of Wright here and allow Maiato to have a chance to close up and creep up to him more as Mackey just let Wright go, but see if it'll hurt the exit of Maiato. Oh, how about this? Maiato coming in.
Big sideways for Maiato, too.
Well, that kind of scares me. If you're Jeff Wright, when do you come in now? Or do you continue to stay out? And now everybody... Wow, this is getting really interesting on strategy because we weren't expecting to see Keith Maiato bring it down pit road, and now he is.
Let's break it down like this. AJ Stravato just got back on the lead lap.
Just passed Wright.
So he's got a 30-second gap. Now, if
lap time's a second and a half, it's not going to be enough, no matter if he were to turn a second and a half every lap.
Yeah, that's going to fall off eventually. So Stravato might be able to get his way back up to a top 5.
Yeah.
Even a top 3 is a stretch for the 33.
Here's another question. What about Cabot? Can he make it on... If Jeff Wright has to go into save fuel mode, Cabot pitted 3 laps before. He might be another one we're talking about because he only has to go 49 laps.
Man, I wish I would have gotten to talk to some of these drivers about the fuel. We're obviously at that 80% capacity, but they were already running full speed for 47 laps there on that second stint.
And remember, they did have caution laps. They had 2 or 3 laps of caution to kind of save some fuel. This time, they're not going to have any. So, and I think the biggest domino so far, other than Stravato and maybe Osmer, was Keith Maiato bringing it to pit lane when we were saying he might not have to. He might not have to worry about that. I don't know. Stravato, 27 seconds back, about still turning times about a second faster. Not enough to reel in 27 seconds, but he's turning times to get himself back up into the top 5. I think, can carry, or he's going to get by Vincent, so he's already up to 7th. He just needs 2 more spots to get back up to 5th, but I don't think 5th will cut it for Stravato, who's looking to go 2 in a row tonight.
As Stravato hot off that win last week, definitely shows on track. He's all out. He's rolling the dice, as you would say.
Yeah, he's already spun the table, and the little ball on the roulette wheel is going right now, and currently it's landing at number 1 for Jeff Wright here, and he's hoping to draw red number 1. Although still 20 laps to go here as Cabot under pressure from the lap cars, Aaron Lee, and Cabot is kind of just evened out with with Jeff Wright with 2 lap fresher tires. Maiato going to roll around with fresh tires around the outside, get by Cabot, get by Lee, and now get by Mackey and Sullivan. Oh, a big move there from Stravato on the exit, or Maiato, on the exit of the corner, and that will allow him to get back in the line. But man, I don't know. This is tough to see here. It's tough to monitor, to see what can happen, what will unfold during the rest of this race, as now Wright has some clean air to kind of get to his nose. But you know what I'm hearing? Jeff Wright doesn't have the car on the entrance of the corners. He might be short on fuel. His Cabot is eating into that lead. And we'll go on board here. We'll listen here as he goes into turn 1. That's a clutch and coast and shut off and lift early. He has 2 laps less than Cabot. Cabot going, I think, at full, but Wright might be tight on fuel. Stravato sitting about 24 seconds, not enough here. We'll see the next time by as they keep going. That time Stravato a 31.69. Jeff Wright a 32.60, 32.59. So still about a second separating, but I don't know. This will be interesting to see, can Wright make it on fuel? Can Cabot push now, who has fresher tires and fresher fuel? This will be very interesting. Now my auto's going to get by Cabot, finally getting by the traffic that was around him.
Yeah, I wasn't quite hearing what you were hearing with the car shutting off on the 48, so I don't know if it's a little audio bug for you or if it's on my end, but it still seems like Jeff Wright's pretty well pushing this car to the max, for me at least.
Interesting. I don't know. I keep hearing him shutting and coasting it, so that'll be interesting to see if he runs out of fuel. He's got a big enough gap that he might still beat Stravato, but is it going to be big enough to beat the rest of Cabot or beat Stroll? But Stroll, remember, he pitted later. Mahalski pitted a little bit later, or earlier. Cabot pitted earlier. Stravato, the first one we know, is for sure good on fuel. Man, love a good strategy racing. What has been a very entertaining race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway has now turned even more entertaining, and trying to figure out who can make it on fuel, who won't be able to make it on fuel if they can.
Just to kind of recap on some lap times here, AJ Stravato, we'll see what he does this time around. Last time a 31.9. This time by a 31.9 as well, almost a 39.2. 1,000 shy of a 32-second lap. Jeff Wright still turning a 32.73 last time by for him.
It's just not going to be enough, I don't think, for Stravato to reel him in. I just don't see it. Still 14 to go, and Cabot is only taking about a tenth or maybe even less than a tenth of a second out of Jeff Wright's lead. 2 lap fresher tires, 2 laps more fuel use is still a possibility. There's really no, I haven't seen Jeff, well, that time I have to not say that. Jeff Wright turned almost a 33, so he's took about 0.3 of a second out of the lead. So I'd have to think Jeff is at some point maybe a hardcore save, because Adam Cabot took a half a second that last lap.
It would make sense. He's got the distance to second place to do it for now. Might as well take advantage of it while you can. I tell you
maybe
what, man, Michael Stroll here in this 38, one heck of a debut race. Sitting in third right now, obviously under pressure from Mahalski, right there behind the 55 of Cody Adkins. But wouldn't that be a fantastic start to the season for the 38 team if he can come away with the podium tonight?
That would be something to see if he can win this race, and or if he can win, maybe something falls his way, but he could pit a lap later than the leader, Jeff Wright. So that could be interesting. Well, listen to his car, he's not saving, so be interesting to see if he can get away with the podium in your first start. That ain't too bad. It's not too shabby of a run, but Mahalski's going to try to make sure he can take that podium place away. So we'll see. Is still now going to be coming close to 10 laps to go, and if there's enough fuel in the 48's tank, will he run out, or will anybody be able to dethrone the 48 of getting his 4th win of the season in the first 6 races?
That's a stat line right there. Jeff Wright with 4 wins in 6 races. Oh, man. That's going to be tough to recover for the rest of the field.
I think it's something we expected, though, out of Jeff Wright to be as good as he's been in these Xfinity cars and be as good as he's been the last couple of years. And it wouldn't surprise me, I think, honestly, to say him winning 4 of the first 6. That's not out of the realm of possibility for a driver caliber of his. And he's been the best driver here for the last couple of years, so it doesn't surprise me much, I would say, out of Jeff Wright. But Mahalski now has ran down Michael Stroll here for 3rd, as level and getting by Cody Atkins. Still need to get to Weekly to be the first car lap down, so a little bit of a ways to go, but still possible if we get a caution in this race. Given what can happen and the different possibilities, all can happen. Anything can happen in Las Vegas, because what happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas. And that could just be very well. I don't think Noah Mahalski wants to stay in Las Vegas last year after having contact with Seth Hatchell in the chase race, ending his chance at a championship. Both of their chances at a championship after Jeff Wright went on to win that race. And right now Mahalski behind Michael Stroll for 3rd and trying to get that spot away from him.
Closest battle up here in the top 10 between the 38 and the 03. keep an eye on this, see if Mahalski can do anything to get around the rookie, Michael Stroll.
Yeah, Stroll's doing a good job holding off. Gonna have to navigate around the lap car of Dallas Sullivan here, who's running in 18th. Has had heavy damage on that left side since the restart incident between Keith Mayato and I believe it was the 20 of Osmer. So still trying to get everything separated, get everything situated. And now Stravato only lapping 0.3 of a second faster than Jeff Wright. So don't believe he's going to catch him unless anything crazy happens. Ray Massey is saving fuel here in his car. Jeff Wright's still in the gas. I don't know if Jeff can make. He's got 7 laps. He's got 3 seconds enough of a gap. He gave him another 0.2 that last time. So we'll see.
Ray Massey in that Clark Print shop Ford Mustang. He's really coasting through that corner there, cutting below that apron. Saving every little bit of fuel that he can.
He pitted a lap after Jeff Wright did, and so did Michael Stroll. Or Stroll actually pitted a lap before. Let me make sure I'm saying that. No, he pitted a lap after, same lap as Massey. So interesting to see, is Stroll going to give that spot up to Noah Mahalski here? Although fighting back on the outside, Stroll coming back around, but won't be able to get the momentum down. And Mahalski moves up to 3rd and looking for his best run of the season if he can make it to the end.
Here with just about 5 laps to go, we only have 2 drivers out of this race, Alec. That's pretty good for, you know, just a showcase of the caliber of driving that we have here at BTDY. 115 laps completed, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Rookie of the Year stands, if we have those, how that will be, because Mackey's going to get a lot of points on Coley, who's going to finish 23rd. So Mackey, if he can get another spot, maybe get 22nd get 16th, get 17th. He's gaining a lot, so doing a good job so far. Dice maybe losing a spot here. Weekly struggling on that in that race car, so still some time to go. It's 5 laps to go on the board for Jeff Wright, and we'll knock that down to 4 to go. Can he make it to the end on fuel? 2.5 seconds separating Adam Cabot, who doesn't seem to be saving at all, and can possibly make it on fuel, who had 2 laps less, or 2 laps less on tires, 2 laps less on fuel. 2.8 seconds to gap.
Definitely
Is Jeff Wright going to be able to make it?
A lot more coasting coming out of the 48 now. He is in fuel save mode, but I think he's got enough to make it to the end.
It'll be close. Stroll coming into pit road. He pitted the same lap as Jeff Wright. Stroll entering pit road. That could be big. The 38 out of fuel. And coming down the pit road. Can Jeff Wright make it with 3 to go? Now 2.5 laps left in that tank. Can he do it? Wright really coasting almost halfway into the corner. He gave up a half a second to Adam Cabot. Stroll going down the running order. 2 laps to go from Las Vegas. Does the gamble pay off for Jeff Wright? Cabot now, that time 0.2 again. Looks like Wright was fully in the throttle that last time. He might have just had enough. A lap and a half to go for the 48 team. Is there enough fuel in the tank of that Pepsi Chevrolet Camaro, the Atlas Chevrolet, chasing down Adam Cabot, the Magic Man? They don't call him the Magic Man for no reason. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Jeff Wright. Can he win his 4th race in the first 6 races? 1.5 miles left. Does he have it left in his tank of fuel? A second separating Wright and Cabot. Now a half a lap to go. Jeff Wright trying to coast. He might be able to coast from right here. Into turn 3 they'll go. The lap car of Loveland will try to work around. Wright gets back to the gas. He'll be able to do it. Jeff Wright off of turn 4. The gamble pays off. Saving fuel will matter. And Jeff Wright will win in Sin City.
What a drive.
It sure was. Jeff Wright wins it at Las Vegas. His 4th win In the first 6 races of the season, Adam Cabot comes home second, and Noah Mahalski gets his best finishing result in third. Massey comes home with a 4th place finish, and how about AJ Stravato still able to get up to 5th? What a race we saw here from Las Vegas. That was on the edge of your seat racing all night. And it only makes you wonder if Keith Maato maybe didn't come in, if he could have made it to the end, but he got up to 6th. And Jeff Wright, with what little he has left in that tank, will try to burn it down here on the front stretch in front of the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway fans. And another win on the board and another win in the career of Jeff Wright, and extending his points lead as he burns it down on the front stretch. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break for post-race interviews with your winner, Jeff Wright, Adam Cabot, and Noah Mahalski.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the nurturing reader at New Jersey street fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
And welcome back here to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. After the conclusion of the Martin Sports 180, let's take a look at our finishing results. Jeff Wright, the winner, his 4th win in the first 6 races. Then Adam Cabot, the Magic Man, the front row stays the same in the finishing order. How about Noah Mahalski, rounding with a 3rd place finish? Then Ray Massey comes home 4th. The Italian Stallion AJ Stravato is 6th. Keith Maato is 7th. Keith Maato 6th. Angelo Ronis is 7th, and the Daytona winner Justin Carey with a solid finish in 8th. Ronnie Osmer comes home 9th, and Chris Samard was 10th.
Following up our top 10, we've got Jeremiah Vincent in the 3, taking home the 11th spot, followed up by James Loveland in the 02, Alan Dice in the 5, Cody Atkins in the 55. That'll be 13th and 14th. Caleb Weekly in the 7 will take home 15th. Jake Mackey in the 99 for Big Fast Racing Chevrolet takes home 16th. Michael Stroll in 17th. Man, he had a fantastic race up there at the front. Shame to see him have to bring it down so late. Dallas Sullivan, early ongoing issues in that 46, just kind of ruined his race there. He had the speed to stay up there early on, but fell apart. Dennis Faircloth in the 80 will take home 19th, followed up by the 91 of Zach Smith in 20th.
And 21st was Aaron Lee. 22nd was Kyle Payne. Rookie Jace Coley is 13th. Max Cost is 14th, and one caution for 3 lead changes on the night. We'll move up to our third place finisher here tonight, Noah Mahalski, who comes home with his best finish of the season. Noah Mahalski, Alec, and Logan in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, man, your best run of the season so far. Start fourth, come home third. Do it on the one-stopper after the caution. How's it feel to finally get this finish that it feels like you deserve, I would say?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I was hoping the guys in front were going to run out of fuel. I mean, wishful thinking though. They're both really good at saving fuel compared to me. I'm terrible at saving fuel. I think we finished the race with a half lap left of fuel, so saving a little bit, enough to get us to the end at least, get this P3 finish.
For sure, and a good way to end off the 2024 year. 2 weeks off from Christmas and for the new year. Come back first week of January, Michigan. How do you feel about going out there and maybe carrying this momentum?
Michigan's a fun track. I don't know stat wise how good I am there. I do like driving it. Recently I've been kind of on a bad luck streak throughout a whole bunch of different leagues, so tonight kind of feels like a nice change.
For sure, and I bet it is. And now we got a whole year off, so appreciate your time, Noah. A Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to here for a nice finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank out my girlfriend for watching the race. She came in before the race and she was like, "Oh, nice job at qualifying." She was like, "Try to get second." And I was like, "Why second?" And she's like, "Because I know you can't beat Jeff." So thought that was a little funny, but I'd like to shout out all you guys up here in the booth. You guys do a great job every week. All the league sponsors, Martin Sports, Sailor Terra Magic, Affinity for Gaming, Up There Disc Golf, and KHIO. And then like to thank Strobel Auto Repair for being on the car. Gave us a rocket ship this week. And then AutoZone, Chemical Guys, Fanatec, all the people that make this stuff go on every week. Appreciate them all.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Noah, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you at Michigan.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's Noah Mahalski, third place finisher. We'll go down pit road here to second place finisher, the Magic Man,
too.
Adam Cabot, Alec Logan, the booth. Adam, you got a copy, buddy?
I do, brother.
Well, man, just a couple seconds short, and maybe even a couple tenths of fuel short compared to Jeff Wright. But you come back and get a second place finish. How does it feel running part-time and getting at least a good finish shown?
Well, if I can use my imagination here and live in an alternate universe, I can just kind of like not look at P1 leaderboard and pretend that I won by 5 seconds. So that's what I'm going to choose to do. But no, it was, I mean, I'm happy with my performance. I don't really race this car very often, and I'm also, I consider this my worst mile and a half, and also I hate and usually just don't even participate in fuel mileage. I usually just do the extra stops. So I figured I'd shake it up and try to catch everyone off guard and make it on just one stop. And I thought I had everyone covered because I didn't think that Jeff was on the same strategy. And then all my hopes and dreams were crushed when I looked and saw he was staying out in the track, and I wasn't really gaining on him there. So, yeah, I mean, it was, I hate to use the word clean air, but that was probably the deciding factor tonight. Like, it was just 1 and 2, you can move around a little bit and make something happen. 3 and 4, I don't understand how a track that's, what's the word? Dynamic, multi-groove, progressive banking. That's what I'm looking for. I don't understand how a track that has more banking on the high side can possibly be that bad in 3 and 4. So you either go up high and the car just pushes and it feels worse than dirty air, or you ride in the car's dirty air in front of you. So I just tried at the beginning of runs to push as hard as possible to see if I could get past Jeff on fresh tires, because I knew that was my only chance. But the run would just die out when I got to his inside in 3 and 4, and he could just kind of pinch me down. And yeah, just burned up my stuff. and figured, all right, time to start clutching it and save. And if he wasn't the master that he was, I could have caught him off guard maybe, but he was able to save fuel and still go a lot faster. I mean, my downfall was actually saved too much fuel. The first stint, I did all of my fuel saving the first stint, so I didn't have to save it all the second. If I balanced it out a little bit more, it would have been way more efficient, and maybe I would have at least had a shot. But yeah, overall, good race, and yeah, it's fun racing Jeff because anytime you can beat him, you certainly earned it. But yeah, congrats to him, and looking forward to doing some more races in this league this season.
For sure, and obviously, Christmas and the I think New Year's break coming up. Next race at Michigan, do we expect to see you out there? And if not, or if so, how do you feel about going out there?
Michigan's a pretty fun track. I don't really know how it is in this car, but I mean, you can move around a little bit. You can actually make passes, so definitely look much more forward to Michigan than I would Vegas.
Well, for sure. Well, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Adam. Is anybody want to give a shout out to here for the next run?
Yeah, give a shout out to the VSPEED team for doing the broadcast, BTDY for, of course, putting on the league. Shout out to Jeff for making me sweat out there and making me have to really work to try to get these wins and prove to me that I'm going to have to work a little harder. And then, of course, shout out to Sad Boys and Angelo and AJ for dealing with me all race tonight.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Adam. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next in the couple coming weeks at Michigan.
All right, you as well. Thank Alex. Alex.
Appreciate you. And there's Adam Cabot, your second place finisher here tonight from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Logan has made it down to the virtual Neon Garage and in Victory Lane with Jeff Wright.
Yeah, we've got Jeff Wright down here in the winner's circle once more, 4 times on the season already. Jeff, you are just running away with it at this point. Halfway through the season, got to be feeling pretty good, but man, what a fuel mileage race that was for you. You barely had enough to do a burnout. What were your closing thoughts in those last couple of laps? We saw you clutching in through the corners just to save enough. Did you think that you had it, or did you think that you needed more?
Yeah, I didn't really know. I figured I was gonna try that method, just I saw AJ, he had obviously went for the two-stop strategy and beat me to pit lane, and at that point I would have had to pit shortly thereafter to be competitive on his strategy. But when we went green from that last caution, I was looking at that fuel number and I thought it was doable. But yeah, it was really, really close, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work until about, I felt pretty comfortable with about 10 laps to go that we had half a lap, but then it kind of started going the other way, and then I only was, 0.2 laps to the good, and then really had to save those last 3 laps, and then just had to keep an eye on that ticker to see where Adam was at, because he was obviously coming pretty quick. So, yeah, just glad we could hang on, and yeah, it doesn't seem like we can win these fuel mileage races too often, so it's finally nice to get one of these.
Absolutely is, and 102 laps led, all but 18 of them here tonight. And now, obviously, going into a nice 2-week break for the holidays. I know you, Jeff. You're going to be turning laps just about every day out here getting prepped for Michigan.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't want to burn myself out there, Logan, but Michigan's a fun track. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to enjoy the time off. It's nice to have some off weeks here, around the Christmas season. So I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that, and we'll be refreshed to come back at Michigan here in a couple weeks. But all in all, yeah, can't be, too disappointed where we're at this season. We have obviously put ourselves in a really good spot points-wise, and ultimately the goal here is to get that championship and try to get our third one. So, so far we're doing everything we need to do that. Obviously, some really good guys missed tonight. I think Bailey Turner would have probably been a factor, especially fuel mileage. He usually really excels at that. So, yeah, we're just going to keep digging, try to get as many points as possible, and continue that quest for a third championship.
Well, you pretty well answered my last question, which was, how are you feeling about the back half of this regular season schedule? But we can skip over that, and we will wish you a happy holidays, Jeff Wright. I heard Santa Claus had a personal message for you on that, so we'll we'll get away from that. But is there anybody you'd like to thank for putting that Pepsi 48 up here on the top step of the podium tonight?
Yeah, just thanks to the admins of BTDY here for putting these events on every Tuesday night. And then obviously the VSPEED team. You guys are the best in the business, and we appreciate what you guys do. And especially this BTDY series, having you and Alec do our races. You guys are such a dynamic duo, and it's a lot of fun to watch afterwards. So thank you to you guys.
Well, we highly appreciate that, Jeff. And again, have a happy holidays, buddy. We will see you in the new year.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good one, Jeff. Thank you.
You as well.
That's Jeff Wright, the winner of tonight's race for the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a great first 6 races we've seen. What a great race tonight. We've seen Jeff Wright beginning to look unstoppable, it seems, Logan.
Yeah, almost to the word. I mean, 4 races out of the first 6, and halfway through the schedule, you can only imagine what that 48 team has in store for the next 6 races until that chase starts. But we've got a 2-week break here to enjoy the holidays with some family and just take some time off from the whole racing scene.
Absolutely, and again, for all those that are watching or have watched, we appreciate you guys tuning in and checking VSPEED out. And remember, if you aren't subscribed, like, subscribe, and tune into all the racing action that we'll have over the next year and the upcoming year. But until then, 2 weeks from now, enjoy and have a wonderful Christmas, Merry Christmas, safe travels, and a Happy New Year to all of those watching. We look forward to seeing you guys at the beginning of 2025 right here on VSPEED for the BTDY Racing Series presented by KHIO. Until then, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you at Michigan.